recording. Okay, good evening everyone. Excuse me. Tonight's session will be on setting up a new QuickBooks Online file, also the actual conversion process, how we actually go about it through QuickBooks Online, and also some tips and tricks and how-tos during the conversion, because there's always a bit of a trick sometimes as to which way is the best procedure. And so that's what we will be doing tonight. So my name is Lauretta Finis. I'm from Quick Business Bookkeeping Solutions. Run a bookkeeping business just like a lot of you guys. I'm also a small business owner, and I'm also a member of the Intuit Trainer and Writer Network. So our agenda tonight: how to correctly set up your new QuickBooks Online file. So we will go through that process and I'll show you how you actually do that through your QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. Then we'll look at some frequent mistakes that people do that I've actually found along the way, and I'll share some with you because it might just be just that thing that you might be doing incorrectly, or it might just help you from not doing it the incorrect way next time. And also we'll discuss when would you use a conversion. Okay, so do you convert the file over or do you set up a brand new QuickBooks Online file? So that's some of the things that we'll be discussing. Then we'll actually learn how to convert a new client to QuickBooks using the conversion, which is a free service. And then also looking at how to import bulk employee details from KeyPay over to QuickBooks Online, and it is super easy and quick. Okay, so that's our agenda for the night, everyone. So hopefully you've all got a cup of coffee in hand, a glass of water or something stronger, and let's make a move. All right, so what we will be doing throughout the night is I'll be presenting this through the PowerPoint presentation, but then what I will also do is I will then go in and do a live presentation, because I think if you actually see it live, it makes much more sense than actually just looking at a PowerPoint presentation. All right, so when you're actually setting up a file, it is pretty easy. If most of you have gone through the certification course, you will have your manuals, and we would have already gone through this. So it is a really good refresher, tonight's webinar, so you can actually get some more points and tips as to the best way of opening up a brand new QuickBooks Online file. So this is what, on the screen, we have the new QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. And this is what it looks like, and we'll be going into it, and I'll just give you a really, really brief overview as to what it actually looks like, everyone. And on our right-hand side, so it's very similar to our older QuickBooks Online Accountant version. So we just click on the Add Client, and then we do actually go through a few more steps. That is to add the client details, which is fairly straightforward. So it's a client contact, number one, then products and team access. So as you can see, we can actually add the product, which would be QuickBooks Online Plus or QuickBooks Online Essentials, depending on what you're actually selling to your client. And then in that file, through the new QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard, we now have the ability to determine which employee has access to which client file. So that's a really great feature in the new QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. So if you've got, say, 5 team members and you want Jessica to look after company A, B, and C, and you want John to look after D, E, and F, you can actually select the different team members to the actual file. So that's a really good point there as well, everyone. So when we set up the new QuickBooks Online file, Once we actually go through that process on the QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard, you'll actually see it magically appear in your client list. Okay, so there'll be a list of your clients in the dashboard. You then click on the green QBO logo, and this will take you through the setup process, as we've just seen. And then there will be a company wizard or a setup wizard that you need to complete. All right, and then we'll discuss the rest of it a little bit later on. So I want to take you now into that demonstration. And as you can see, I've actually logged into my training QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. And as I said, with the new QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard, what you actually see is all your clients. So if you had 50 clients, you would actually see all your 50 clients down this list. Okay. What you'll also see is this particular file, I've actually closed it, which means I've closed the period. So it actually gives you a status of where you're at any one time for your actual file. For review, this tells me that, and as you can see, I can actually widen up these columns. It tells me that there's 3 changes to the closed book, so something's actually happened after I've closed the books. And also I've got 71 unaccepted transactions from my online banking feed. And you can actually see, oops, my download did fail, and that was on the 4th of July. The reason, everyone, why my download failed is because this is only a demonstration file, a training file, so I don't have a lot of real data in there. The other column which you need to be aware of is we can now, and I'll quickly click into this, we can now request something from our client. So if you had your client details in there, and of course I don't in my training file, you would actually choose the actual, you could actually choose the actual person that you're sending it to. The message could be asking for more information. You can actually even attach a file if you want to send it to your client. But if you're actually requesting, say, a bank statement, you just type in requesting bank statement to June 30 and so forth and so forth. You then send the request, and what you need to do for the very first time is it will take you through to the box, because it's actually the document storage is through box, and you need to activate it. I'm not going to turn it on because this is only my training file and I don't want box activated on this file. So as you can see, my request is waiting to be sent, but I need to activate this first. Once you activate this box, which is very similar to your Dropbox that we know, it will then send off to your client. Your client will receive the email and he should action it. Okay, and there's also a due date too. So the client will actually see, like if you actually give this email a due date to the 30th of July, that will actually come up in his email. So that's pretty cool as well. So guys, tonight it's not a session about QuickBooks Online Accountant, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview. Then there's the team on the left-hand side navigation area. You can see there's Lauretta and there's Wanda. And then if we click into our Pro Advisor area, this is where all the marketing materials are kept. So as you can see, Elliot is my accountant that looks after me, my accounts person. You may have here in Victoria, we've got Nick and Adrian, or you might have Arian or Jeff Craig. So depending on where you are, depending on who your business development manager is, you would actually see his lovely smiley face. And you've also got a phone number and also an email. So if you wanted to email him directly from here, you can actually email me if you've got a problem. There's the marketing area as well. So take some time and have a look around because there's some great features in this area. So let's go back into our presentation for the night. And everyone, it's 7:12, so I really need to get into the opening up of the account and discussing the actual conversion. So that was just a quick overview. All right, so what we will do is add a new client. All we need to do is click on Add Client from our right-hand corner. We then have to enter in some details of our client. And guys, just a really quick tip, probably the best thing that you could probably do is actually have all your client details at hand. This way it saves you running in and out of different emails. If you've got him in the filing cabinet, that way you've got every information that you require to actually open up this account. So as this is a dummy account, I'll just leave it at John Smith, company name is ABC, and I would have actually completed all these details if it was a real client. Then I go next. Now, that will always be Australia. What QuickBooks product am I actually selling? Well, I'm going to sell the Plus version. And as you can see, if my client is paying, we've actually got that choice now, everyone. So it's either my client will pay or my firm will pay. As you can see, have a look on the right-hand side. This is my price. This is my Pro Advisor price that I get charged out. But if I want my firm to actually pay that, it is $21 a month. Okay, so I would actually just, my firm will pay that, I get charged, and then I can uncharge it to the client. The QuickBooks Master Admin, that will be me, and that means that I actually am the owner of this file, not my client. Then I click on Next. So this is where I would actually choose which employee I want to add to this actual file. And at the moment, I've only got this employee, which is Lauretta QBOA Training, in Access because I haven't actually set up Wanda quite correctly at this stage. So the only person that will actually have access to ABC Proprietary Limited is Lauretta. If you had other clients, other employees, if you had 5, they would be listed here, and all you need to do is just tick the one that you want to actually to have access to that file. Nice and easy. Then you save. I'm not going to save, everyone, because it is only a dummy file. So once you click save, it will do its little spin, it will do its little trick, and what you'll see is your new client sitting here. So it's already been done. Okay, so it's opened up a brand new file for you. But what you then need to do is we then need to go in and actually tailor that file and make sure that everything is set up correctly for our client before we hand it over to our client. Now, everyone, don't click on here, because if you click in where it actually is set, and as you can see, if I just hover over here, it actually says QuickBooks Plus, and that's the last time I signed in. So if somebody else has signed in, it would actually give you the last sign-in date and the username. If I click on here, it will take me directly to the actual file. If I click on here, it will actually take me to the admin side of the file itself, where if I've got a request, which was the request that we just did that little process, if I've got any documents that have been stored against this client using the box feature that we discussed. This is the bookkeeping. It actually tells me the accounts and where they're sitting and when they were last reconciled. If you click in there, you'll actually see that's the actual email address. Don't forget, everyone, this is just a dummy file. That's why you see QuickBooks Online at Gmail. All right, so what I actually want to do is I'm going to go back to that spot, to my dashboard, and I am going to go into my QuickBooks Online file. Now, the very first time you go into your file, everyone, what you will see is this wizard. And I'll just set it up so that you know what it looks like. So again, the very first time you go into a brand new file, you will see this wizard. And this information would have been picked up from that opening file that we just did through that step 1, 2, and 3. All right. We click next. Then there's a bit more information that QuickBooks actually needs. So now it's actually asking you what industry is your company, your business file in. We've actually chosen retail trade. Then it actually asks us, what are we actually selling? Do we just sell products or services, or do we actually sell products and services? Let's click on products and services. What type is the company? Is it a sole trader, or it should say business? Is it a sole trader? Is it a partnership? Is it a company? So choose whatever your business is. So it's a sole trader in this particular area. Now, do you want to import data? No, we don't at this stage. I will be showing you how to import the basics into a brand new file, all right? So I always say no in this area here. Then how would I like to get paid? Well, you know what? I don't really care how I get paid, so I will tick every one of those boxes as long as I get paid. So then I click on next. And now what it magically does is it actually brings up this rainbow behind the scenes. While this is happening, just have a look over here on the right-hand side, okay? The rainbow might be mesmerizing us all because we all like to have a look at pretty colors, but in a moment, just have a look at what happens over here, okay? So what it's actually doing, while we've got this pretty rainbow happening, it's actually setting up QuickBooks Online for us behind the scenes. So with the information that we've actually given QuickBooks Online with the last 2 pages in our wizard, in our setup wizard, what it's done is it's turned on purchase orders. It's enabled discounts. It's turned on our inventory tracking. That inventory tracking was actually turned on because we said that we're actually selling products and services. All right? Now, don't be too alarmed. If something gets turned on, we can turn it off. If you don't want to see the inventory tracking, that's cool. We can actually turn that off in a moment. All right? So our next step is done. So after that 3-part setup wizard, it will then take you to the home page. All right? And that's what it looks like. I'll just give you a bit of a rundown shortly of what QuickBooks Online is all about. So let's just go back to the PowerPoint presentation at this stage. So what we've done already, we've actually opened up the brand new file. It's magically appeared in our client list in our dashboard. We've then clicked on to the QBO logo, which took us through the wizard setup process, and we actually did the company wizard. The next step to actually setting up our QuickBooks Online file so it's ready to go to our client or to us to actually start transacting in, because don't forget, this is a brand new file. There is no data. It is not a conversion. And I'll discuss with you in a moment when we get to the conversion stage the difference, and you'll quite clearly see it. So it's a brand new file, no data at this stage. The next thing that I would be doing is setting up my GST. Then I look at importing customers, suppliers, my chart of accounts, and products and services. But guess what? If this is a brand new business, he may not have customers or suppliers, all right, but he may already have a few. If he's only got a few, all you need to do is just enter them in, because they probably won't take that long. But if he's got 20 or 30 or even 10, it's a really great time to actually bring them all in and start cleaning them up if he's actually trying to also bring them in from an old MYOB file or an old Reckon file. If he's got an existing file from MYOB or Reckon, more than likely he'll have customers, he'll have suppliers, he'll probably have products and services, and he'll definitely have chart of accounts. So that's when we'd actually clean up the old file and bring them across. Okay, and we'll look at that shortly. Also too, if he's bringing in some balances from an old MYOB or Reckon, or it could even be Xero, what we would be doing is entering in our opening balances, and we would do that from the balance sheet or a trial balance. All right, now this is where you need to add in your individual debtor and creditor balances as well. And we actually bring all this in from a journal. But note, this will not give you an aged report. It won't give you an aged receivables report, and it won't give you an aged payables report. Okay? What it will do is it will bring in all the different balances that we have, whether it's a bank account, equity, loan account, credit card, asset account, and debtors and creditors as at the journal date. So we need to decide when, let me just go back a page. We need to decide whether or not we bring it in through a journal as of a date, or do we bring it in so we can actually see the invoices and the bills with an aged report. All right. So if we want to see an aged report, we need to enter them in manually. And that's fairly simple, and we'll actually discuss how we actually do that when we're actually setting up the actual opening balances. So this is what we'll be looking at shortly. That's our GST Centre, and this is what it actually looks like when we've actually got data in the actual file. So it gives us a bit of a graph, and that's actually found on the left-hand side navigation area down to our GST Centre. Then the next one down is our importing data, and that is found under our company settings area, which I'll show you. And then we can import in customers, suppliers, chart of accounts, and also products and services if we have to. All right. The other one is my opening journal, and I've actually got a dummy opening journal there at the moment as of the 30th of June, and I'll just show you what it looks like, and then I'll go into the actual customer so you can see what it looks like as well. But if I bring in my customers and my suppliers through this journal as of 30th of June, don't forget we won't see an aged receivable or an aged payable report. All right. So let's go back and have a look at those. Okay, so the first one that we want to look at is our GST Centre. So for the very first time, when you go into your GST Centre, you certainly won't be seeing the $144,000 that is owed in your GST. What you'll see is a button. Sorry, everyone. What you'll see is a button over here, which will say Set Up GST. Click on that button, it'll do its magical trick behind the scenes, and it will come up with this little window here, and it will be 0, 0, and there won't be any adjustments, of course, because there is no data in this area. Once we start entering in data, this is when you start to see your GST come alive. You know, how much have we collected in sales? How much have we collected in purchases? All right, so that's our GST Centre. And you can actually, this is where you actually run your reports for your BAS summary, exception detail, and so forth. We do have on YouTube, we do have a session, a live, it's actually live at the time, but Leanne Davis from our TWN networking group, she's actually done a video on how to do a BAS. So go and find that as well. All right, so that's our GST Centre. The next thing that I mentioned was, let me go back home. Okay, so I always go back home. That way you know exactly where we're sitting. And let me just give you a quick overview at this stage, because not a lot of you may be 100% savvy with QuickBooks Online. I'll just give you a really quick rundown. On the left-hand side area is what we call our navigation area. And it is exactly that. We're navigating from the customers to suppliers to employees if we've got payroll turned on. Then we'll go to our transactions, and this is where under banking, what you'll find is this is where we set up our live banking feeds as well. Okay, just go, this is our sales register, our expense register. This is where you can see your chart of accounts. There's also another area where you can see your chart of accounts, and I'll show you that in a moment. This is your reports, and as you can see, we have got a lot of reports in QuickBooks Online Plus. You keep clicking and you'll see a lot more. Okay, we have in QuickBooks Online Plus 65 plus reports. When I say plus reports, it means that if you click into a particular report, it almost becomes like a mini report writer. Okay, so as you can see, we've got heaps in there. and let's go into the profit and loss, and we go customize, and you can customize to your heart's content in here. Okay, so that's really cool. And I've actually got something that I'll show you a little bit later on a report, so you can actually see it in action. All right, then we've done reports, and that's our GST Center and apps. If you want to find apps, which is if your client is actually looking for something else, for something more, or something robust that he needs to add into QuickBooks Online Plus, this is where you would go. QuickBooks Online Plus is very robust. A lot of my clients do not have anything else attached to them, but if your client needs a really big inventory model, you can actually go in, and there's quite a few different inventory areas in here that you can click down and find what you're actually looking for. Let me go home. Now, in our plus area, that's our global create area. So from our global create area, if you just think of this as your transaction area, any transaction you possibly want to do, if it's an expense, that's what an expense looks like. If you're doing a invoice for a client, that's what an invoice looks like. Okay, so play around with this area. So this is any transaction. This is where we find our journal entry. And that's when we do transfer from one bank to the other. Have a look and play around in there. Now, this cog area or the wheel is what we call our company settings area. Under our company settings area, this is where we fine-tune the actual file. What do we want to actually do in our client's file? So in this particular instance, what we wanted to do is import in the data. That's actually found under the tools, import data. And what I would do as a suggestion, go down the list. Add in your customers first, then your suppliers, then your chart of accounts, and your products and services. No real reason why you would go down that list, but I find it's much easier and it streamlines better to actually do that. The only thing is, see these last two, chart of account and products and services? Tip, a big tip in red. Make sure you bring in your chart of accounts before you bring in your products and services. And I'm guessing everyone out there will probably will click why I'm about to say this is because if we bring in a product or a service and we don't have any chart of accounts so we need to link it to, yeah, we've done something wrong. And you won't be able to actually link anything to your products and services. So in this area, chart of accounts, definitely before the products and services, but that's why I just go down the list and I know I don't do anything wrong. Bringing in customers, I'll just show you this really quickly, everyone. We can download a sample file. This is what it looks like. There it is there. All I did was click on download sample file and it's just sitting here for me already. It opens up an Excel spreadsheet. This is what it actually looks like. Tip, do not, I'll just enable editing, so I want to show you a few things in this. Tip, do not change this whatsoever. That top line, do not change company to name. Otherwise, what will happen is when we actually import it into the actual QuickBooks Online file, what you'll find is they'll be back to front. So do not change that top line. All right, what I also do as well, when I'm setting up a brand new file for a client and he has actually is coming across from MYOB and I'm not doing a conversion, I actually send him this file, this spreadsheet like this. I send it to him and tell him, okay, what I want from you is your customer, the company name, email, phone, mobile, fax, website, and so forth. If he's savvy enough, and say if he is actually coming across from another product, I'd say 90% of the time, 99% of the time, he'd be able to export it out of his old accounting software program, and then he would be able to bring it into this spreadsheet and just clean it up, because what you might find is he might have 200 customers and he's only using 100. So this is a really good time to actually start cleaning up his customers before you actually bring it into QuickBooks Online. All right, so that's what you would do. So once you've actually got this from your client, You would click Browse. It would take you straight to your desktop or wherever else you've actually got it sitting. You would actually choose it. Okay, so it would be sitting in there. Then you'd go Next. I can't actually do it, everyone, because I don't actually have anything set up for this dummy file at the moment. So our next number 2 step is to map our data. It's pretty simple because all that we're doing is we're mapping. It'll actually say name. It'll go to name. Company name. You'll map it to the company name. It'll be address, email, phone number, so forth and so forth. If you've done mapping before, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But for the first time, if you are a first timer, just take it back and take that 1 minute or 2 minutes extra and make sure you are doing it correctly. Once you've actually mapped it correctly, you click on Next and you go to Import, which is our last stage. Once it goes to import, it will actually come up saying we've imported 20 customers, and what you can do is you can actually cancel out of there and it will take us to our customers, and we'll actually be able to see all our customers that we've actually imported into QuickBooks Online. Okay, so that's where you actually find them. So everyone, again, it's under our cog area, under our company settings, under tools, import data. Then you would do suppliers the same way. Chart of accounts, again, everyone, there's a sample file there as well. If you've got your favorite chart of accounts, you can bring it in through there. All right, download the sample file, have a look at the actual different columns, make sure you don't change that first column and bring it in. All right, then the next step on importing data will be your products and services. And again, it's got the sample file. Download the sample file. Take a moment to have a look at it. And as a tip, everyone, what I normally do is if I'm opening up a brand new file for a client, it's not a conversion, I would have the sample files already sitting in a new folder on my desktop. And the name would be John Smith, because this is John Smith's file that we're doing. And anything to do with John Smith that I need to bring across into my QuickBooks Online file is sitting on my desktop under the folder called John Smith. Because if I need to quickly have a look at it might be the sample file that he's actually sent me and I need to check something before I actually do something. As it comes across, I just put it into the Dropbox file, the actual folder on my desktop. So that's a bit of a hint as well when we're doing a conversion. So once we've done the import data, the next thing that we need to look at is our opening journals or our opening balances. And let me go home. I go to the Create area, I go to the Journal entry, and this is where we would do our journal. All right. And we would just go down the list, across, and complete our journal with our opening balances. I've actually got one in here that I set up today. So if I just go back to my search area, it will bring up my last few transactions that I've done. And this is my journal entry that I did today. So you'll be able to see what I've done. I dated it the 30th of June, called it opening balances. That's my ABC Bank 5126, my accounts receivable. Okay, in QuickBooks Online, we don't have debtors or creditors. We've got accounts receivable and accounts payable, everyone. But see across our accounts receivable, I've got Alex Blakely. So from my old file, I've got Alex Blakely that owes us $35,000. I can, however, bring in someone else. So I can have as many debtors as I like in here. All right, so it's not restricted to one. I can have as many as I like. And again, I can have as many payables as I like as well. That is our supplier's name, Girls Need Shoes. All right, and we owe them $356. Our opening balance is $39770. I'm just going to delete that so you can see I can delete, and I can also add lines in our journal. Now, I've already saved this today, so what I want to show you is Alex Blakely with $35,000. Don't forget, it's going to show the 30th of June. It's not going to give us an aged receivable or an aged payable. So to find him, this is one way of doing it. I go to my customers. I can bring up, well, there's Alex Blakely there, so I can actually click in there, or I can bring up Alex. As you can see, it brings up everything that's got ALE in it. So I pick up Alex, and I would be looking for, there it is, there's my journal entry. So it actually gives me an amount of $35,000. So when Alex pays me that $35,000, all I need to do is receive the payment against Alex. There it is there. I tick, and he's paid me $35,000. So you can see it will come in as an outstanding amount. All right. So that is how one way of actually bringing in all your debtors and creditors. But again, like I said, it will only bring it in as of the journal date. So the proper way of bringing in our debtors and creditors, so we would do a manual invoice. So let's pick up Alex this time. And from our old system, we can see that Alex owed us an invoice that is outstanding from the 3rd of March. And the product that we sold him some gold, and we sold him 3 bags of gold. Right, so now I'm going to go save and close, and this is where you can save and send that invoice, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go save and close, and now when I go back into Alex Blakely, there he is there sitting as the 3rd of the 3rd, and if I run a really quick report, if I go recommended, accounts receivable, there's Alex, and it'll probably be 30 days. Let's have a look. So if I just click on Alex, that amount that we just did on the 3rd of June, there it is there, $600. So you can see it'll be in our aging report as of the correct date. So that is the correct way of bringing in your receivables and your payables, everyone, if you want to see it through that report. Otherwise, just bring it in through the journal entry. That's something that you need to decide when you're actually bringing in your balances, okay? Okay, so let me go home and let's go into that PowerPoint presentation once again. So everyone, we've looked at the GST Centre. We've looked at how to bring in our customers, suppliers, our chart of accounts, and also our journal entries. Then the next thing that we need to do is have a look at our setup of bank feeds, our products and services, manage users. Now I need to rush this a bit because I've only got 15 minutes, everyone. I haven't even got to the conversion. So let's go into our live file, and what we look at is setting up a bank feed. Transactions, banking, add account. This is where you would add that account. Choose the bank. Once you choose the bank, you can put in the customer numbers, the customer number and the password of the bank account. That's if you've got access to it. If you don't, you're going to have to wait for this part once you give access to your actual client, and that is done through Manage Users. Right, so this is where you can actually add in your client. You can give him access to the actual file. As you can see, there's quite a few different managed users in this TWN demo file. That's all the actual TWN members that we have. We would set up a new user for him, and I'd probably give him either company admin, or I'd actually tailor a user for him, or it's even reports, just reports only. Work out what you want to actually give him, what type of coverage, what access right. Okay, set that up for him. Then the next thing that we need to do is look at our products and services, and that is found under our company preferences, products and services. And I'll just show you these bags of gold. If we go into this, we can actually see, have we set up that income account correctly? Is it inclusive of GST? This is where, if we want to, we can actually also include it as part of our inventory. So have a look. spend a bit of time in there. What you can also do is see this print button here. If you want to have a quick overview, this is really cool. Instead of actually scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, this is where it actually tells you this is the account that we've actually got the gold set to, and that's the price. So have a look at that. The next thing that we need to be looking at, let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. So we've done set up bank feeds, we've done products and services, and we've actually done manage users. And next one is on company settings. All right, so what we'll do is I'll just go over this PowerPoint presentation. So under our company settings area, take time to set this up to suit your clients. Work down the tab. Go into the individual company settings. And this is what it looks like here. And then go down the tab again. Go under company, go under sales, expenses and advanced. When you're under advanced, have a look at the automatically apply credits and apply bill payments. It's a default setup that when you open up a brand new file, it will automatically be turned on. I have them turned off because I don't want a credit to be automatically applied to anything, because I want to be in control. Like all of us bookkeepers and accountants, we like to be in control. Check all your products and services. We've just gone through that as well. Some of the mistakes that can be made. If things don't look right, if I've got a client, once I've actually given him access to the file and he rings me and he says, Lauretta, I can't see this or I can't see that, the first thing I say to him, are you using Chrome or Firefox? I'd say 99% of the time he'd say to me, no, I'm using Internet Explorer. Well, that explains why he's not seeing it, because we only use Chrome or Firefox. That's the first thing. Next thing, check your accounts are set up correctly, because the last thing you want is for a product that once you actually invoice out is going to the wrong income account. Bring in your chart of accounts before the products and lists. Also, you don't have to set up your GST if your client isn't registered. If he's a little tradie, you don't have to set up your GST. Just leave it blank. Don't go in. Don't turn it on. Same as foreign currency. If you don't need it, don't turn it on. Remember to set up your connecting bank accounts to the online bank feeds. Also, don't bring in the incorrect chart of accounts. I've actually seen that as well. So, they've actually brought in a wrong chart of account. What we also have too is under our company preferences, we have under the settings, we've got QuickBooks Lab company templates. Now, this is where you can actually switch this on and you can actually save templates from one file to the other. Go in, have a look at it. So there's some more hints and tips as well under our company preferences area. Where you find the PDF invoice when emailed, you can actually set it up so that it actually automatically emails out a PDF at the same time. You can set up the default messages. So in the email message, you can actually change the wording around so it's a little bit more friendlier. Also, just check and find where the duplicate check and bill numbers are. So that's found under the company settings, under miscellaneous, warn if duplicate check number. Because if we're actually entering bills and we find the client 2 weeks later gives us the same bill, this will be a bit of a warning for us. When turning on payroll, remember, change the email address of the business details to their email address. Don't leave it at your email address, otherwise you'll be receiving the emails from your clients' employees. That's fun, because it actually did happen to me when I first set up my very first payroll. In payroll, check your chart of accounts as well for your defaults and your pay categories. And what I also do is I also set up an ad hoc pay run for the funny in-between pays where you might have, and we just had that this week where we'd already paid someone 2 weeks ago. We had a new employee start about a week ago and they forgot to tell us she needed the money, so we had to enter her in as an ad hoc pay run. So then the next fortnight she would actually go into the normal pay run fortnightly. Converting a client to QuickBooks Online. Sorry guys, I am rushing it a bit, but it's already 10:02. So I really want to show you this part because it's really, really, really important. So decide first off, are you going to open a brand new file where it's nice and clean, or do we want to bring in or import in the actual data from the other file? I would do this when a client wants to see the actual data from previous years, and also if it's one of my clients' files. Our clients' files are very clean, so I've got no drama with bringing in clean data into a brand new file. So I'd say 90% of our brand new files, we actually do the conversion process. Now just note, because we've actually just clocked over to the 30th of June, the conversions at the moment are to the 31st of July. They will convert the data back from 1st of July 13 to 30th of June 15. So that's 2 financial years, plus the current month of July. So that's a really good deal. So that is only to the 31st of July. Then August onwards, it will be the current year. So it'll be July and August plus from the 1st of July 14 to the 30th of June 15. Any other additional data that you want to bring in will be $26.50 for each year. Okay, this is great for clients that want to see their data come across. Unfortunately, it won't bring in the payroll details. It will bring in the journals, of course, so you can actually balance everything off. All right. Steps to be followed. What I actually do before I convert that file over is I clean up the accounts receivable, the payables, the chart of accounts. I then print up my reports that I actually need, because once my new QuickBooks Online file arrives, I need to start matching bananas with bananas, not bananas with apples. So I actually print off my balance sheet, my P&L, chart of account list, the receivables, payables, the product list, the classes and categories, or whatever I've got in my old file that I need to see in my brand new file. I then open up a brand new QuickBooks Online file, as I've previously gone through previously, and I don't run the wizard. Once I've done all that, all I need to do is I just go to intuit.com.au, and we'll do that because I've actually got that open. So it's intuit.com.au. Under Accountants and Bookkeepers, move your client's data to QuickBooks Online. We have this information here about moving your clients to QuickBooks Online. Get started today. Have a bit of a read. What gets moved across? What doesn't come across? So it's all the data that you want. That is free. If you want any other data, any other years, it'll be $26.50. This is what they actually bring across. This is all the different files that come across. So you can see the other softwares that come across. If you've got any queries, email support. They'll get back to you pretty quickly. So all we need to do is convert our new file. So this information here is your details, not your client's details, your details. Then you click in here. Now the name of the company is the name of the business to convert. Okay, so if you hover over there, it's the name of the business. That was your details. This is the name of the business. Then you click in here. You work for an accounting practice, so enter in your accountant firm name. Then what are we bringing across? We're bringing across MYOB account right plus. Are we bringing across Reckon hosted? So let's just leave it at Reckon. Then what it actually asks you is for the username and password of the accounting software. They need to do that, so they need to get into it, and also the password. It tells you here, free conversion from 1st of July 14 to date, okay, and $26.50 per each year. Select the file to convert. Again, as I said, I'd have it in a folder in my desktop sitting there waiting for me. I select that file to convert. I then start to upload it. As it's uploading, I then click on this one, everyone. I don't share my login details with anyone. I click in this, invite us to access your file. This email address, remember when we went into the manage users, add in this email address as the company admin. QBO Odyssey Resources. That allows Odyssey support into your QuickBooks Online file that you've already got set up. Okay? Tick these two boxes. start the conversion process. Once that's all done, that will come up saying 100% loaded. It will take you to the next screen where it will give you a reference number. That reference number, keep it handy. But what you will receive in a few moments or a few minutes in your through your email, whether it's Outlook or Gmail, you'll receive an email from Odyssey saying, hey, received your actual upload. This is your reference number, and we'll be in contact with you when it actually gets done. So we've gone through that, everyone. We've gone through, yep, that's how we got onto the how to move your clients. We've gone through that page. So we've gone through all this. So this is where it normally takes, let me just go back one. It normally takes 2 to 3 days. Once it's actually done, your new converted file will you'll actually receive an email from Odyssey. It will actually ask you to do your checks. It will give you a PDF. In that PDF, it will actually say, check off your balance sheet, check off your profit and loss. But also too, don't forget those reports that I've told you to actually print off as well. Okay? And then once you think that everything's okay, you've checked bananas and bananas are fine, everything's reconciled, you then can turn around and actually email them back and say, yep, everything's fine. Then they'll actually send you an email and ask them to actually delete them as a user out of that file. All right? So make sure that you actually do that. The other thing that you need to also remember is a bank reconciliation. Now, bank reconciliation, don't think that you're going to be sitting there and ticking off for the last 3 years or the however many years you've actually brought in through your conversion. No, you don't have to do that at all. Once you go to your bank reconciliation window and you put in the date that you've actually chosen to bring across to your conversion, say 30th of June, put in and we all know how to do bank rec, so you put in your 30th of June, you put in the end balance of your bank account. All you need to do is see this highlighted yellow box, tick on there, and that will tick all. That will tick all the transactions on our checks and payments column. Tick on deposits and other credits. That will tick all your deposits and other credits. Then once they're all ticked, and just be wary, you may have had outstanding transactions in your previous file. Okay? So it's probably a good idea as well to actually print off your bank rec, the last bank rec that you did. And if you do have any outstanding transactions, just go down the list till you'll find them and actually untick them. Because once you do that, it will be zero. Once you've done that, your file is ready to use, and don't forget to add in your client as a user. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to bring to your attention is the import bulk employee details. As I've mentioned, the employee details don't come across, the pay run doesn't come across. What will come across is your payroll journals. That way, all your profit and loss and your balance sheet will balance. The way you bring them across is under the payroll area, under settings. There'll be an area called import employee data. The window will look like this. Click on import employee data. It will come up with a CSV template. Okay. Once you enter in the information from your old software into the template, similar to what we did with the actual importing of customers, you can then select the file and import in. That's as simple as it gets. And I just want to show you really, really quickly, everyone, where that's found. I know hopefully everyone, you're fine, are you? We're going to run a little bit over time, everyone. So hopefully everyone's fine. If everyone can let me know if that's all right by either another show of hands or just send me a question to say, hey, that's fine. That way I know I can just keep going. So in our file, under employees, thanks, Shay. I can see a message there from Shay. That's really funny. Thanks, Shay. Okay, so under employees, under payroll settings, See, import employee data. Click on that. And this is where you'll find that you can actually click export, download your CSV file. Okay. Then once you've exported it out and you've got all the information that you need, select it and bring it up. You can actually also do your initial values as well. Really quick story, I was doing 14 or probably about 2 months ago now. I just couldn't get it right no matter what I did. So I just quickly emailed payroll support, said, hey guys, I'm having problems. I'm trying to do an import. I must be doing something wrong. Within a few moments, I got the normal email to say, hey, received your email, we'll be with you in a few moments or a few minutes. I'd say within less than 5 minutes, I got another email from a real person this time, and they said, Lauretta, can you just send us your spreadsheets? We just want to check it out first. Sent them the spreadsheet. Probably within about 15 minutes, they replied back and said, Lauretta, we actually need this column. Because once you actually download the actual CSV file, the sample, you'll actually see there's quite a few different columns that need to be, that you can include. Not all of them have to be included, okay? So use your payroll support at all times. Okay, it's really, really good. There's also some answers that will come up straight away, but if it doesn't actually answer your question, guess what? You can actually just email them straight away from that window. All right, so let's go back to, just want to show you really quickly, everyone, that email address that I mentioned. When you set up your business details for the actual business file, see this email address here? Make sure that is your client email address, not yours. Because if it's yours, what you'll find is that you'll get the emails from their from their employees asking them, why didn't I get paid for Saturday? Why didn't I get paid for Friday? So forth and so forth. So that's what happened to me. So I always remember to do that one. We learn by our mistakes. What can I say? All right, everyone, back to our PowerPoint presentation. That's it. All done, everyone. Okay, so questions and answers. We've gone through that pretty quickly in the last 15 minutes with the actual conversion process, but it's pretty straightforward, right? Once you actually, and I'll show that to you again, once you actually go through that area, through QuickBooks Online, it's practically all done for you. It's not that hard. I think the initial thought of doing your first one could be a little bit scary, but once you go through all that process, as you can see, if I've done something wrong, it'll actually let me know. So don't think you can do anything wrong. If you're not sure of something, use that support email address there. That'll go straight through to Odyssey, who are the people that actually do the conversion for Intuit. All right, they're pretty good. They will email you back if you're not sure of something. Just email them. Email them. Don't be too scared about it. Or you can actually contact Intuit straight away. All right, everyone. So back to our questions and answers. So again, everyone, if you've got any questions, I haven't had too many questions coming through tonight, so that's been good. I can see everyone's still sitting there. If you have any questions to ask, everyone, please feel free to ask me any questions. Jack, I can't actually see my, that's better if I make it a little bit wider. Okay, so I've got a question here from Shay's in the middle of watching telly. There's nothing on telly tonight, so that's good, Shay. Okay, Jody, if you have already entered some data, can you still run a conversion? That's a real tricky one, Jodes. Yes, you can. It depends on what the data is, though, because you may find that you might have a double up of data. Does that answer your question, Jody? Because if you're don't touch your QuickBooks Online file before you do the conversion. And another hint too, don't do any work in your old file after you've sent the conversion across. I've actually seen and it was quite very hard to actually work out the fix on this one, because we had a bookkeeper where she had sent off the file to be converted, but the client needed something done urgently, so she went in and she actually did, like, I think she tried to convert to the end of December, then she went in and done January, February and March, because I think the conversion she did around January, February. I can't remember now exactly how the story went, but that was a lot of data she entered. It became very, very messy, and she took a lot of time to actually fix up. So Jody, does that actually answer your question there? I'm just trying to see, there's another question that's come through. Yep, so Jody, hopefully that's answered your question, love. Also we have, do we have any videos, links, and for end user client training? Yes, we do. It will be found on intuitglobal.intuit.com. If you go to and I'll just show you really quickly where that can be found, and you can sign up for many more if you like. So it will be found, everyone. Let me just go back to intuit.com.au. Learn and support, training and events, accounting professional, because that's what you are. Spend some time and have a look at what's in small business, because some great little videos that you can use for your clients. So get more out of QuickBooks Online. This is probably where you found our training session tonight. As you can see, we're running one on the 31st of July, which are the new features, and we normally have new features every month. There's the same session that we're doing tonight. We're redoing it again on the 5th of August. All right, but there are heaps of other different things for you, okay? So take some time, have a look around. Let me have a look. Do we have any other questions? Will you send the link for YouTube regarding this webinar? Yes, I'll make sure David Harris, sorry David, I think I might have actually not mentioned you in the very first instance. How naughty of me. Everyone, we've also had David Harris, who is our National Training Manager for Intuit. He's been behind the scenes helping me with some questions. We haven't had too many, so that's great tonight. But David will send out the link to this recording, as well as the PowerPoint presentation. I'll get this across to David. And everyone that's attended tonight, you'll get the PowerPoint presentation as well, because then that way you'll have time to actually go through it all step by step, and you'll see exactly there's the reports, etc. So yes, we will send those out to you. Shay, thanks Lauretta. No worries, Shay. We'll see you next time. Jody, sort of. I created mine file, connected up the bank, and it automatically download transactions. Oh, have you done all that already? Right, Jody. What I suggest, it might be a little bit, yeah, you might be overlapping in quite a few transactions, and it might become very messy. Depending if it's 90 days or less, your file, you could purge it. What I want you to do tomorrow, Jody, is ring up customer care. Take them through the scenario and just get them to help you out, because if it's less than 90 days, you can start again with a brand new file. I'm just afraid, Jodes, that if you've already downloaded the bank transaction or online banking feed, you'll have at least 90 days in there. And depending on where the old file stopped, Yeah, I can see you actually saying to me, can the file be wiped? Yeah, but it's got to be less than 90 days, Jody. Ring up customer care tomorrow, run this past them, and they should be able to help you out, okay? It was just a few days ago. Jody, that's good. Ring up customer care, love, and they should be able to help you out. Good. I'm glad I've helped you out there, Jody. Do we have any videos, links, etc. for end user client training? Yes. I'm not quite sure who's actually asked me that question, but if we just go back to our Intuit QuickBooks.au, get more out of QuickBooks Online. Sorry guys, let me just take it back one step. Okay, and I'll show you how we got into there. Learn and support, training and events, small business. Have a look in there because we've got some great, they can also do live webinars as well. There's some great videos sitting there waiting for your end users. Have a look around because there's some great little videos there that you could possibly use to send to your client. It makes you look so professional because you've got some videos that you can hand out. So that they are really cool, everyone. The other thing I want to point you out to, because I don't think we've got any other, I don't think I've got any other, no questions coming through. One other thing, guys, Small Business Centre. Every now and again, have a look in here because what you'll find is we've got some great blogs coming through. How to lodge BAS using QuickBooks Online. I mentioned that before. That was from Leanne Davies. How to identify and find your ideal client. So we've got some marketing tools. Converting to QuickBooks Online, seriously easy. So we've got another blog in there about how to do conversion. If we go to, I think it could be money, there's got some great interesting facts in here as well. All right, if you go to how to run your business, have a look around. It will give you some product updates. There's also some information on here how to, Gov reports in QuickBooks Online, everyone. I know I'm having problems with my BAS portal. I'm sure everyone is at the moment. So we've actually got Ali, who's part of our TWN. She's written a blog on how Gov Reports in QuickBooks Online works. Time tracking, SuperStream, multi-currency in QuickBooks Online. I don't know who uses multi-currency, everyone, but I've actually written that post as well. There's a few written by me in here as well. So have a look around. Just take that extra time. I know we're all time poor, but this might give you a little bit more information. There's some how-to-dos as well in here that will give you the information. All right, everyone, I think we might just finish this off. Yep. Okay, so we will finish this off tonight, everyone. Hopefully you've all got some information out of tonight. My only tip is take the time to set up your company file correctly before you hand it to your client. All right, because if it's not set up correctly, they start using it, you'll find all sorts of things happening behind the scenes, and then it's going to take you twice the amount of time to try and fix it. All right, everyone, on that note, on that tip, good night, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you around on another webinar. Night all.